Minister for Arts, Culture and Heritage, Paul Goldsmith, ordered officials to remove te reo Māori greetings and reference to Aotearoa New Zealand in an official invitation to the formal Matariki celebration this year. Now, to be really fair and frank, when you actually have a look at what they changed, it was pretty minor, but I think it's more about what they're saying. This government, who is already like on a short lead with what they're doing and talking about with te reo Māori, then removing, even if it was one word, even if it was kia ora, away from the Māori New Year. Like sometimes when I'm writing to people in America, looking for an interview or something, I'll sign it off with kia ora. Sometimes I'll sign it up with kia ora and I say kia ora hello. You know, so I put both words in sometimes if it's to an international person, because there's something about being a part of New Zealand. You know, and if I'm asking someone in LA to come and speak to us or London to come and speak to us, then it's cool to basically go, hey, this is where we're from. You know, that little country, come and talk to us. Kia ora means hello, come on over. How much their whānau/family. That's how I write emails to international people. But old fucking Goldie, he goes, oh no, can't use bloody Maori words. When we're talking to Australians, the Australians know nothing about New Zealand. Good Lord. Let's have a listen.
For Arts, Culture and Heritage ordered officials to remove Māori greetings and the word Aotearoa from an official invitation to a foreign dignitary for Matariki celebrations. Paul Goldsmith says because the invite was going to an Australian politician, he wanted to keep things simple. Senior political reporter Benedict Collins has this exclusive report.
Unless what he's saying is all Australians are morons, I guess that could be one out, that they can't even figure it out. Because if he said Aotearoa New Zealand, they might be like, you know, when you go past that school and it says kura and then it says school underneath it, unless you're the kind of person that goes, I don't know what that is, maybe. So he might have a point because it is to Australians.
From the Paris Olympics to the National Party Conference, te reo Māori is being used more and more.
Te reo Māori is a taonga. It's intrinsic to Māori identity, culture, history. It's actually about our past, but it's about our future.
Our newest public holiday is for celebrating the Māori New Year. But our Culture Minister believed there was too much te reo in official invitations.
Yeah.
Kia ora, Minister.
So too much te reo, Chewy. Remember when we went to the NZEI and like 3/4 of that panel was spoken in te reo? I'm not saying that was too much, but you'd expect if there's too much te reo, it would be like, basically you need to be bilingual to read it. That's how I would think about too much te reo. Because like if there could be a point that if 80% of the invite, and it was a 1,000-word invite, was in te reo, you kind of go, okay, well we need to, you know, cut that down a bit because these people don't speak Māori. So just remember they've said that, too much te reo.
Hi. Hey, why did you ask officials to take Aotearoa and Māori greetings out of these Matariki invites?
Well, as I recall, it was in relation to sending an invitation to an Australian.
Can I just give you an observation as well? See this guy in the middle of the suit on? He's Goldsmith's press secretary. And he's recording, he's recording the conversation. I saw this and I went, oh, that's really interesting. So what they're doing is they're recording any times that Goldsmith is speaking to the media, probably because they're going, no, what if the media clip words and they don't give proper context? So that dude there's not a reporter. You watch at the end, he walks away with Goldsmith. That's his press secretary recording the interview that the media is doing with him. I find that a bit creepy and a bit Big Brother-ish.
Minister, I didn't think he needed a lot of te reo in his invitation because he's an Australian.
Yeah, I mean, of all time,
the scandal of the century, I would have thought.
Yeah, but
No, it's a bit like when we play rugby against Australia. We'd never do the haka there because, you know, you don't do it for Australians. It's just eliminate. You only do it when you're playing, the All Blacks are playing all those other New Zealand teams.
all times to use Māori, wouldn't it be an invite to Māori New Year, to Matariki?
Oh yeah, but I was just sending it, when I send an email or an invitation to an Australian minister, I just didn't think it needed a lot of te reo in it.
A lot of.
Email chains released to One News show the invitation officials initially proposed went from tēnā koe to dear, and Aotearoa New Zealand to simply New Zealand. The sign-off replaced with yours sincerely.
So, a lot of. It didn't need a lot. Chewy, it didn't need a lot of. I believe that's 6 words. It didn't need a lot of. It's a full-page invitation. It didn't need a lot of Māori, so we got rid of those 6 words. Yes, you want to explode? Go, Chewy. Explode away.
It's so small-minded.
Yeah.
It's so small-minded. Oh, we want to send an email to Big Brother over there, and we don't want him to see any scary words he doesn't know. We won't take it as an opportunity to show what we're about, what we should be about, at least.
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with, like, just get rid of the cross out. Just have both.
Yeah.
It's not like this Australian minister's not going to read it because the word count's too high. Like, take this moment as an educational moment. To go, no, we can't. We'll invite this guy to the showcase of Māori culture, but we won't start with the email. And he might be confused by suddenly being confronted for the first time in his fucking life with the name Aotearoa. Do you think this Australian minister is unaware of it?
I wonder why
the
they called
only
it
explanation
Matariki.
is that they're too stupid.
Look, I wonder why they referenced it as Matariki. He doesn't know what that is. Why didn't they
It's
call it
an
Māori
oversight.
New Year? I wonder if they should change that email address, and they should have a new email address for Australians that says Māori New Year at mch.govt.nz. Because how do they know what Matariki is? Like, when I saw this today, I just thought of that research, and we did do it. And look, I spoke to some people from RNZ about what they do, and they went, oh, that's an interesting angle. Did nothing with it, of course. When we spoke to the Welsh Language Commission, who said they have to use the Indigenous language and English. And when they do, the Indigenous language of Wales has to come first. That's in legislation. This government gets in and they eliminate the Indigenous language. And if you look around the world at the places where they have Indigenous languages that are white, like Wales and Ireland and Scotland, no one has a problem within society about increasing the use of the Indigenous language. If you look at all the colonised countries where white people are now the majority and the Indigenous language is brown or other, USA, Australia, New Zealand, there is enough of a kickback from people to have a fucking government be comfortable to go, we're going to eliminate the Indigenous language as much as we can. So other countries, like Wales, legislate you must use it, it must be first. New Zealand, the right wing of New Zealand says, we don't want it to be used as much as English first. It's disgusting. It's disgusting, Chewie. Anyway, we should get to the end of the story before we explode again. Sorry, one more?
So weak. So weak.
Yep. Let's get, maybe he pulls their rabbit out of the hat. He doesn't.
An official noting the minister wanted all te reo Māori salutations and references made to Aotearoa New Zealand removed.
I mean, you look at our coalition agreement. It says unless there's been a referendum changing the name of our country, the name is New Zealand.
It's an insult.
That's actually the insidious part, where they pushed and they pushed and they pushed, and eventually had to fall on, well, our government wants it to be called New Zealand. So he made light of it at the start. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But then by the end of it, he had to say to the reporter, this is New Zealand, and that's what we've agreed to call it, which is, again, disgusting.
A referendum changing the name of our country, the name is New Zealand.
It's an insult, not just to Māori people, but to this country. Here we are trying to celebrate this language, and you've got a minister acting contrary to that.
Others just perplexed.
See, the karakia are all in Māori, or the songs are all in Māori. The wairua was the wairua Māori, and yet can't have Māori on the invitation letters. This makes no sense to me whatsoever.
In terms of sending a message to an Australian minister,
You
I
watch
just
the
thought,
end.
well, let's just keep it simple.
The minister
See?
insisting
Walks away
it's
with
no
him.
big deal. Benedict Collins, One News.
Chewie, Mount Vesuvius, you were going to explode again. Feel free, sir.
It's Mr. Goldsmith should pull out his passport and see what's written on it.
He wouldn't get into Australia because they'd go, what country are you from? I don't know this country.
Maybe Mr. Goldsmith should pull one of our many banknotes out of his fucking wallet and have a look what's written on there.
His big, thick wallet.
Like, it's because of the coalition agreement. Oh, fuck off. Like, actually show some spine. You have emailed an invitation to a foreign dignitary to come and have a look at the culture that we have here. It's a holiday you never wanted, celebrating a culture you'd rather not acknowledge. At least grow a spine and make it consistent. Like, maybe we could be the little country that's showing Australia a little bit of leadership of like, this is how you can kind of halfway interact with your Indigenous people. We know that you're not into that, but we've done it.
I
Not as
wonder
well
how
as we
some
could
of
have,
these.
but we did
I wonder how some of these ministers, who may not be obviously as hardline as some with an ACT, are going to feel in 10 years from now when they reflect back on this government and what they did to the Indigenous language of this country. Like, honestly, I wonder if they'll look back with pride as to what they achieved by minimizing it, or I wonder if they'll be a bit sheepish when they look back and be a bit embarrassed by it, and then go, maybe any means to an end to get power wasn't the best way to do it. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, he obviously doesn't think it's a big deal. You know, I'm sure when let's say France sends out an invitation to one of their cultural events, I'm sure they make sure that they strip all of that French, all that nasty French that no one understands, out of their emails. I'm sure the Chinese do. They don't want the messy culture getting in the way of nice Queen's English interaction between nations. It's just small-minded. Yeah. They'll never know what it means, so take it out. Nobody wants to learn new things. And if that isn't just an indictment on this government at all, that we can't bother people with trying to learn something about Māori,
but
then I don't know. I can't state it any clearer. It's just weak.
It's not even that, though. Like, to be honest with you, it could, I mean, we know as people who write letters, God, especially to someone who has letters written 1,000 times a day, like a minister of the crown for whatever country, knows the format of letters. They know what those words are that say just before my name and those words at the end just before your name. That basically means hello and goodbye, because they know the form of the letter. And also look what David's written. That's a good one from David. Thank you for your super chat. Would Paul Goldsmith refer to Hawaii as the aloha state or the hello state? Yeah, it's just, I really wonder why. Like, we talked a bit about, would the Greens use the waka jumping? And I was a bit like, do you really want to blow your waka jumping load on this one, or do you want to hold it for something really important? Why would they do it with this little insignificant thing? It feels like you're really trying to make a significant point. Why are you doing it with this little insignificant letter? I don't quite get it. Unless they just thought we can slip it under the radar and no one will ever know.
Hardly the scandal of the century, Pat. Up on my ivory tap. Like, it's just, look, if it was by itself in complete isolation, sure. When you put it with everything else these guys have done, stripping anything about Te Reo out of what they want to do, their constant attacks on Māori and what Māori think is important. And then you get Nicola Willis up there doing lip service that it's a taonga. A taonga is a treasure.
Yeah.
Something to be proud of, not something that you take off an email because the person you're sending it to might need to learn something.
Yeah.
Might need to use, as you said, Pat, his fucking context clues and go, oh, those words that I've never seen before, they might mean hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
yep.
This word in front of New Zealand's Aotearoa might be a different name for the country that's emailed me. I mean, I'm a minister. I can't possibly use my fucking brain and work it out. Thank God on high that Goldsmith has saved me from this.